Okay, we're at our second to the last stop, or third to the last stop. We've made it up to Dalton, Georgia. So we continued north from Calhoun, and we have made it to the depot in Dalton. You can hear the train in the background there. We're at the old Dalton depot, which I'll show is now a restaurant called the Dalton Depot. And you can see here's another one of the sesquicentennial markers here at the Dalton Depot. So what's happened since we left Calhoun? Well, remember in Calhoun, the general passed on through with Andrews and his raiders on their way to Dalton, and the Texas was still going in reverse, had to move the Catoosa out of the way, onboarded Edward Henderson, who was the telegraph operator out of Dalton. So got Ed Henderson on board. The Catoosa followed them in chase, and now you've got the Texas with Fuller and some Confederate soldiers, as well as a telegraph operator, with the Catoosa behind them, on their way to Dalton, still chasing the general. So the general pulls into Dalton, where we're at here, the old historic downtown Dalton, where the Dalton Depot is, and some of the accounts say that the passengers here were just astounded at the reckless nature of the locomotive as it came through. And of course, the general had no reason to stop here, and they were going at a high rate of speed as they passed through Dalton. Now remember, along the way they'd been cutting the telegraph line, so the word still had not got anywhere north that the general had been stolen by Andrews' raiders. So nobody here in Dalton knew that. There were passengers here in Dalton expecting to get on the train to go to Chattanooga and points north. But that didn't happen. The general rolled right on through here at the Dalton Depot. And then in pretty hot pursuit was the Texas, followed by the Catoosa. Well, the general was on through here and on his way to Tunnel Hill, which will be our next stop. But when the Fuller got here, when the Texas got here with Fuller on board, they slowed down. They didn't stop. They slowed down long enough for Fuller to jump off, make sure the tracks were switched in the right direction to take them to our next stop through Tunnel Hill. And then he jumped back on. Well, at the same time, the telegraph operator, Edward Henderson, jumped off, went inside the depot. This is where he was based. Went inside the depot and started tapping out the message, of course, in Morse code. Tapping out the message to Chattanooga that the train had been stolen. Well, they didn't get a reply, so they couldn't confirm that there was an acknowledgement. So I'll leave you hanging with that one, and won't tell you whether they were able to get the word up north yet or not. I'll wait for for our last stop to tell you about that. But interesting mix of history and railroad and telegraphy. They had the telegraph operator just running Morse code. Just a fascinating story, fascinating. And we're enjoying taking the route here. But so we're in Dalton, Georgia. Dalton, as I mentioned, the carpet capital of the world, undisputed flooring capital of the world. But we are now going to head to Tunnel Hill. So I just mentioned the general sped on through, the Texas on their heels, and we'll see what happens when we get to Tunnel Hill, Georgia. Hope you're enjoying.